Childress Racing is now in a lot of trouble as they've been penalized for their performance at Richmond last week. During the race, Dillon managed to win the race, but not without taking out Joey Logano and Denny Hamlin on the last lap of the race. This sparked a wave of controversies. On Wednesday, NASCAR allowed Dillon and RCR to retain their race win. However, they stripped the team and the driver of the playoff berth that was achieved with the win. In addition, both of them are docked 25 points in the championship. These penalties will not only affect RCR in the standings for this season, but will also face a financial loss which will affect the team in the long term and could lead to its downfall. Whether or not RCR stays in NASCAR or not, we'll always be here to deliver the latest news on NASCAR, so don't forget to hit that subscribe button for our channel. When Denny Hamlin was asked how much RCR stands to lose with this penalty, he said, "Probably about $2 million and what the charter will get paid. That's the key." JTG Daugherty co-owner Brad Daugherty said that number is higher. "I think it's a little bit more, maybe $2.5 million, so that's huge," said Daugherty, who also serves as an analyst for NBC Sports on NASCAR races. Daugherty calls NASCAR's actions a very hard penalty. This is going to hit RCR pretty substantially in their pocketbook because we're always trying to figure out a way to create a positive balance of our checkbooks. This could be multiple millions of dollars in losses based upon this penalty. Naturally, this $2 or $2.5 million would prove to be a very huge loss for RCR. Given that the team is currently suffering with performance, it'll hit them harder. With the team already in a downward trajectory, they will do everything possible to get back that $2 million. Hence, the team has filed an appeal with NASCAR. They released the following statement on X. Childress Racing is very disappointed in NASCAR's penalty against the number 3 team. We do not agree with the decision that was made and plan to appeal. Now that we know how much RCR stands to lose and that they are going to appeal the decision, let's take a look at what actually happened and why NASCAR made the decision to penalize them. With just 2 laps to go, the race was about to resume in overtime. Before the restart, Dillon was in first place, with Joey Logano alongside him in second. Behind them, Denny Hamlin was looking for any opportunity to get past. As the race resumed, Dillon had a poor start and allowed Joey Logano to take the lead of the race. However, as the cars came to the final lap, Dillon knew he had to do something. He realized that his only chance to win is to completely take Joey Logano out of the race. As a result, he completely rear-ended Logano during that final lap. This sent the number 22 car spinning and into the wall. After this incident, Dillon lost a bit of momentum and opened the door for Denny Hamlin to get past. However, at that point, Dillon had already taken out 1 car to secure the win. What's the harm in taking out 1 more? So he hooked Hamlin's left rear and sent him into the wall as well. After the race, Dillon was asked if it was a fair move on Logano. He said, "I don't know, man. It's just the rules of the sport, right?" Dillon said. "It is what it is. Wins get you into the next round. I did what I had to do to cross the start-finish line first." Dillon pretty much admitted that he took out Logano intentionally. What made the situation even worse for RCR was the fact that the number 3 crew spotter yelled out "wreck him" during that final lap as Hamlin was overtaking Dillon. After reviewing the footage and the statements, there's no doubt that Dillon intentionally took out both Logano and Hamlin. This is why NASCAR decided to penalize him and the team. NASCAR's VP of Competition, Elton Sawyer, gave the following statement to justify the penalty. "I think in all due respect to the appeal process, we looked at this and the totality of everything that happened as you enter turn 3 and as the cars got to the start-finish line," Sawyer said. "So, as we looked through all of that data, we came to the conclusion that a line had been crossed. Our sport has been based going for many years, forever, on good, hard racing. Contact has been acceptable. We felt like, in this case, that the line was crossed." NASCAR clearly felt that the line had been crossed in this incident. At the end of the day, Logano had a better launch during that restart and deserved to lead the race. Since Dillon and RCR have not been having a good season, they were desperate for that win. Hence, Dillon made the decision to do whatever it took to take the checkered flag first. In addition to the penalties mentioned earlier, NASCAR also decided to give a 3-race suspension to the number 3 crew spotter for yelling out "wreck him" during the final lap. Initially, the team's owner, Childress, completely denied the existence of this radio message. "I didn't hear him," Childress said, "and I was on the radio with him. We'll see if he did." He did a damn good job at it. He won the race. Richard Childress clearly has no problem with his employees asking the drivers to wreck other cars in order to win a race. This just tells you the toxic work culture of RCR. Winning is important, but what's more important is to win fairly. Explaining the 3-race suspension for the number 3 crew spotter, Elton Sawyer said, "If you look at the crew chief and you look at the spotter, and view them as calming voices in the driver's ear, in this case, we just felt like we've all listened to the audio. We know exactly what was said. We just felt like that's not what we need spotters doing. That's not what we need from a crew chief sitting in the box. They're a calming voice to what the situation is in front of them, and they're supposed to be spotting for the race, not making comments like were made, as we all know." After reviewing these facts, it's fair to say that Dillon and RCR deserved the penalties they got. NASCAR driver Michael McDowell has also agreed with the penalty given to Dillon and RCR. "I think everybody kinda knew that the line was crossed Sunday night, and, NASCAR obviously responded. As far as jumping in like, do I think it's fair? Do I think it's right? I think more than anything, when you listen to all the feedback, all the noise, everybody has an opinion of what's precedent. What's been done in the past? Who got penalized for what? I think we just gotta scratch all that and just get to who we're going to be as a sport, what we're going to allow, and what we're not going to allow," he said. "I think we all kinda want to know what's going to be penalized and what's not going to be penalized. The fact of the matter is that everybody watching it and all the drivers, I would say, are going to agree that Sunday's race was probably too far." After the race, the drivers usually go on to congratulate the race winners, but this time around, most of them refused to do so, as they believed that he didn't deserve to win that race. Tyler Reddick said, "Normally they penalize you, take away points, all sorts of stuff when you right hook people." Bubba Wallace said, "I was ready to man up and go shake his hand. Can't do that now. That was kinda BS." RCR's appeal will now be reviewed by NASCAR. The team still feels that they didn't do anything wrong, but all the facts prove otherwise. Dillon clearly took out 2 cars intentionally to win the race. Otherwise, he would have probably come in second place behind Logano, which would still have been an impressive result. But with his actions in that last lap, he's stripped his team of the points they had achieved during the race, and has brought shame to himself and the team. One driver who was most affected by Dillon's action was Joey Logano, and he had nothing good to say about Dillon after the race. "Apparently it's okay. What do you want me to say?" Logano told reporters. "Apparently you can come from 5 car lengths back and completely wreck someone and then wreck another one to the line, and we're gonna call that racing." With this penalty, NASCAR has now set a precedent going forward. So now drivers will be more careful while attacking drivers, especially in the last lap for the win. To be honest, I feel that the penalty's not harsh enough. The penalties that were given just reverse the result of the Richmond race. Ideally, the penalty should have been severe enough to scare other drivers from attempting such a move. At the very least, 30+ points should have been docked for both the team and the driver. Do you think Austin Dillon and RCR's penalty was fair, harsh, or not harsh enough? Post your thoughts in the comment section below.